Hi friends, welcome back. So could Australia ban Tesla CEO's Elon Musk, Twitter X? Guys, it could happen. Our friends down under could take action. This is the headlines today. Elon Musk calls Australian government fascist over misinformation law. This is coming out September 13, 2024. You guys know that Twitter X is banned in Brazil. We know that the Telegram CEO got arrested in France. Elon Musk has been shaking in his boots, and I've been telling you guys, there's a lot of countries in the world that could take action against Mr. Musk. This is a real thing, and for those of you who are in Australia, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. We have a lot of people in Australia that watch this channel. Here's a quote here. It says, and this is coming from one of the Australian officials, quote, Elon Musk had more positions on free speech than the Kama Sutra. That's a real quote. Elon Musk had more positions on free speech than the Kama Sutra. When it's in commercial interest, he is a champion of free speech. When he doesn't like it, he's gonna shut it all down. That's coming from Government Services Minister Bill Shorten, and they were talking about this just today. The other thing too, it's really interesting, for real. I can't say it with a straight face, but this is a real headline coming out today. So, a Tesla Cybertruck outfitted with a stripper pole is driving around Vegas. And guys, I mean, if you want to advertise, you put a pole on your Cybertruck. I mean, I'm talking about it. It's the Crazy Horse 3 Las Vegas. It's free advertising. I don't work for them. I just thought this was the wildest story that I've ever seen. And guys, we've seen it all. We saw the Russian warlord put a gun on the Cybertruck. We've seen someone driving around with a Elon Musk, statue head thing, but now we have, this is a real, it really is a stripper pole on the Cybertruck. And moreover, because some people say, well, if there's no video, you don't believe it. Well, I've got the video right here. There it is, driving around. There she is dancing. It's a real thing. So only in America, guys, only in America. but to be fair, I'd be curious if other people in other countries do this kind of thing, or is it only American thing? I don't know. The thing with Cybertruck, and I was just thinking about this now out loud, because the Cybertruck isn't available in other countries, I guess maybe it is only America. Let me read the headline again. So, a Tesla Cybertruck outfitted a stripper pole is driving around Vegas. Okay, there's that. The other thing that's kind of interesting, and talking about around the world, the Cybertruck actually came to Korea, and we have this guy who seems to be a really good cosplayer, and he built a Optimus robot costume thing. It looks good, right? So he's got him driving in the Tesla there, and he's got video too, which I recently found. And so if you want to see what it's like to dance around in the Cybertruck costume and vacuum and stuff like that, hey, I mean, I think this guy's auditioning for a job at Tesla. He really shows what the humanoid robots are capable of doing. Moreover, you got this as well. This is the robot is washing cars, as you can see. And the costume looks good, guys. And they got they actually had this one too. It's pretty funny. They're walking around, and I guess this would be if the robot, how does it handle human relations? The one thing I think is fascinating about this is this isn't really far from the truth of what Tesla does, right? It's been smoke and mirrors for a long time, and then the people who sort of embrace Tesla, it's really just to get attention. Let's be honest here. I mean, the way that it's a robot tasting around, the way the robot thing operates, or the Teslas operate, is they advertise to young people, a bunch of young dudes, and they say, hey, buy a Tesla, you'll get a girlfriend, that kind of stuff. Here's another thing that came out recently on social media. Evidently, this is on the Warner Brothers lot, and I guess they've wrapped the mystery Tesla. That's that yellow thing there, testing the cyber cab. That's the phrase that's been going around. First it was Cybertaxi, but cyber cab. To be fair, that sounds pretty good. Now, the thing with this cyber cab thing, I mean, they're testing it in an environment, and there's a closer look at it, and there's a coloring book. The stuff you find. But they're testing out in a completely controlled environment, right? And the way the thing is programmed, you'll have a whole bunch of engineers coding, everything on the lot. And this is, again, not street legal. The other stuff, whenever you talk about this, Cybercab, Tesla Robotaxi event, I mean, this is just part of Tesla's MO. They'll introduce some sort of product. They'll say it's coming out next year, and then that they missed the deadline. Then let's say it's coming out next year again, and then they'll keep saying that, and then they hope you forget about it, and then they'll try to come up with another pipe dream product. How much longer can they do this? The thing with the Robotaxi, Cybercab, whatever you want to call this thing, is if this thing were real, right? If this thing were real, we would have fully functional, operational, full self-driving right now, right? You would have the robot driving with humans, involved right now, and then have that on the road for a couple of years, and then you put out their Cybertaxi stuff or whatever. Or another thing that you would be doing is you would be announcing, hey, we've got permits from this city and this city and this city and this city. And we'll see what their announcement's going to be. One of the things I think is so important with this stuff is, one, does the technology even work? Two, do you have government regulations? And three, is it even going to be profitable at all? There's all these challenges with this stuff. One of the arguments that you could make, and that I make a lot, is because Tesla's camera only, it's not going to work. You really need radar on this thing. And, by putting radars on this thing, it raises the cost of it, right? And Tesla's not willing to do that, which I understand that, right? You want to make these things to, a cheap price and try to turn a profit. But I just think without the radar, it's a non-starter. Plus, I don't even want a robot taxi as it is. You're taking people's jobs. There's going to be a lot of people protesting, and there's a whole bunch of stuff with that. So, so there's that. Going back to the Australia thing, what really hurts Elon and the possible ban in Australia is, guys, remember this. It's over at X here. Their head of global affairs just left a couple of days ago. That was just announced. Remember this guy? And, who's handling the stuff going over on for Twitter/X. Well, this is actually interesting. There's a couple stories going on with this, and I always try my best to understand what the heck is going on with Musk and his companies. And it is frankly the most entertaining thing on the market, because I think what's going on here, you got this guy who's taking a whole bunch of government subsidies. He's got a bunch of companies that are losing money. He's got a bunch of stock that he's trying to pump up. You got to sell said stock eventually to pay back, all the loans you owed a lot of people and keep your businesses afloat. And then it's a juggling act too of convincing people to keep giving you money, and then also, keep your rabid fans to keep buying your stock. There's all these interconnected things going on. And then you got stuff like this. Read the headline here. Twitter, quote, ceased to exist after Australia's e-safety commission demanded answers about child sex abuse material, ex-lawyers argue. So the basic gist of it is, in Australia, they're cracking down on the kind of stuff that's on the platform. And I think that they even try to fine, it was $600,000 or something like that. And then the argument that you could make is, well, you're finding Twitter. I mean, there's no Twitter anymore. I don't see any Twitter here. Do you see any Twitter? I don't see no Twitter. And so, because we had this conversation before, my wife and I, if you guys follow the channel, we were talking about because Twitter is a better name. It is clearly a better name. You tweet, you Twitter, you got a bird logo, etc. But if you change the name back to Twitter, maybe then suddenly theoretically become liable to all these, you got to pay your rent in San Francisco, you got to pay whatever lawsuits, etc. Just change the name, pretend like the company doesn't exist anymore. So good luck with that. They do have good lawyers, so we'll see what happens. But I will say this, guys. I think Elon Musk his luck is gonna run out. Losing Brazil is a big hit. Australia will be another big hit. Just wait till the UK piles on, France, Germany. USA, he's probably gonna have a better chance of staying operational. But you never know if your guy loses, and I mean your guy meaning Trump, right? If your Trump guy loses and you're losing that chance of that pardon, and you picked the wrong horse, right? You could have tried to go for a pardon with Kamala Harris. You could have tried, but I think you've kind of burnt that bridge. He's been tweeting out all kinds of fake images of Kamala Harris and saying bad things about her. I think you burned that pardon bridge. So good luck with that. This was interesting, though, is that regarding the quotes from Australia, what they're saying here, I'll read this. So it says, the assistant treasurer, and there's a whole bunch of politicians chiming in on Musk here, but the assistant treasurer, Stephen Jones, again, in Australia, said Musk's comment was, quote, crackpot stuff. And Jones told ABC TV that and this would be in Australia, government's new bill on misinformation and disinformation was a matter of sovereignty, right? Countries can do whatever they want. You're talking about managing essentially a mass media company, right? So there are going to be regulations, this kind of stuff. Here's another quote. Whether it's the Australian government or any other government around the world, we assert our right to pass laws which keep Australians safe from scammers, safe from criminals. And I'm like, dang, go Australia. Again, I want to hear from Australians because we have a lot in the community Is this stuff going to have teeth? I'm really curious on this thing. I think it could, but again, I'm an Australian, so no comment on that. I want to hear from Australians. Here's more quote. For the life of me, I can't see how Elon Musk or anyone else, in the name of free speech, thinks it's okay to have social media platforms publishing scam content, which is robbing Australians of billions of dollars every year, publishing deep fake material, publishing child pornography, live streaming murder scenes. I mean, is that what he thinks free speech is all about? And I've said the same stuff all along, guys, is that, you know, whenever you bring this stuff up, there's always like these Elon Musk fanboys and fangirls are like, oh, Chris, you just don't like free speech. And it's like, are you guys like effing stupid? I mean, like, are you willfully stupid or are you actually stupid? Because, you know, hey, if you want to express your opinion on stuff, by all means, express your opinion on whatever. Like if you want to express your opinion on the Australian law, no problem, guys. That's your opinion. We're talking about the fact is Australia may be passing a new law, right? But like if you think that, you know, saying a bunch of fake stuff all the time and spreading misinformation is a good thing, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. There's any number of things. Like, for example, they were talking in Australia that they wanted to strengthen the doxing laws, which I think is a big deal, right? And they're talking like pretty heavy fines over there. I was looking at this. Again, this is Australia. They're going strong in this. It says, I'm talking about this. It says, these laws have been long awaited and come after a draft bill was released last year. And it says here, the federal government, talking about Australia, the federal government also introduced a new separate legislation to outlaw what's known as doxing, where people who maliciously publish personal details about someone online could face a jail sentence up to 7 years. I think that's a really interesting one because, like, for example, releasing someone's home address, phone number, etc., for any number of you know, how can you want to say it, like dangerous reasons can really hurt people, right? You know, you put out a fake story about someone, you give people their home address, right? I mean, I hope you understand like that we can't have quote free speech all day, every day. There's certainly limitations to this kind of stuff. And again, I feel like I must be arguing with either Elon Musk fanboys and fangirls or frankly Russian bots when you talk about this stuff, because it's obvious stuff that there's certain stuff out there that you just don't want out, right? I'll give you another example. Just for example, let's say, you know, I acquire the secret formula to Coca-Cola, right? It's a real thing. Coca-Cola's got a secret formula. I guess it's in some vault somewhere. Maybe it's in Atlanta. And I find this thing and I, leak it out on information. I mean, clearly Coca-Cola wouldn't want that, right? And there's certain things, or I get the nuclear codes, right? And I put them out there on social media, right? Any number of things. So I have no problem saying, hey, there should be some sort of limits to what you can put out in the world, or be it, because there's actually a real problem in here in Korea where people are taking images of minors and putting it on, inappropriate content, and then basically selling it to people. And I'm sure you guys understand that the problem with that. So there's any number of things out there that there could be a problem. And I wanted to bring this up, a little bit of history for you, for history buffs. This is not the first time that we faced sort of your fake information, sort of mass hysteria. If you guys remember this, there's the famous story of War of the Worlds. It was a radio drama, Orson Welles. And some people heard this thing and thought it was real. And if you don't know the story, it's like there's a radio drama, and I think it was 1938, where it's about, Martians come and invade Earth. And some people thought it was real. And, it was funny because these are some of the headlines back then. And it was fascinating even more is it turns out that this story may not necessarily be accurate. I was reading about it. And what I mean by accurate is like, okay, it's true that the newspapers ran this headline that some people freaked out when they heard the, radio drama and they thought it was a real alien invasion. So that part's true. But how many people actually, did call into the, police or whatever? That's an interesting subject. So my understanding of this, and this is sort of a new article that came out by Slate, and this is based on a PBS documentary, was that the newspapers ran this story that there was this crazy hysteria panic regarding the werewolves radio drama because the newspapers wanted to discredit the radio as being a genuine source of news. They want to say, hey, if you listen to radio, you're getting a bunch of fake stuff. Don't listen to them. Read the newspapers. It's actually quite interesting too, because regarding the Elon Musk thing, this is sort of why Elon Musk then says all the time, don't watch TV, don't read Reuters, don't read the Associated Press, don't pay attention to the Australian government. They're all fake. Just listen to me on Twitter and tweet out whatever I want to tweet out. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So whenever Musk says it's all about free speech, he really just wants to discredit other sources so you spend money on his platform. And this goes back to, guys, Musk is the biggest fraud in history. And this is the emperor, what it looks like when he has no clothes. For some people, they think he's a god, but this is actually who he really is. And I just like to talk about reality and stuff with you guys. And I tell you the truth, there really is a Cybertruck running around with a stripper pole in Vegas. So I laugh so hard when I say this for the first time. But anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Please share, and I'll catch you on the next video.